ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for being here today. I invite you to come and take a seat. We're going to start our panel now, then we'll have a little Q&A, and then I will encourage you to come and learn how to monetize your passion from the wonderful Rigi team that's joined us as well. I'm Malini. Hi. I hope everyone's having a good day. So please come and join us. Grab a seat, grab a drink, grab a seat, and I'm going to invite my panel up as well. And just to let you know, we have a fun little photo op here for manifesting your passion. If you take a picture and you tag Rigi and Good Creator Co., we have some fun merch for you. So you can manifest and put it out there. I don't know if everyone knows, we just passed 11th November, so that's 11. And we're going to walk out with all the tools to know how to monetize them. Some of us already are, but we can always make more money. And some of us are starting out. I'm looking at you, Jaggu. Today we will answer your question, what do I do with my damn YouTube channel? I promise. So please do come have a seat. I'd like to invite my panelists up here as well. All right, so without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to the first of our sharing circles and opportunities of these panels where I would like to have various inspiring creators and guests come and share. The Good Creator Co. is a community for creators of all shapes, sizes, locations, and genres. And I really want us to create a community that helps grow and support each other. So today on my panel, I have some absolutely phenomenal guests. I would like to invite you to come and join and take a seat. So I won't make you stand through your introductions. Please have a seat. Anywhere you like. Or you tell us. You're the one who knows best. Amazing. So first of all, thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. It is such a pleasure to be finally doing this. We're going to do a half-an-hour chat and then 15 minutes of Q&A, and we will let you just raise your hand and ask questions. But before I introduce my panel, I want everyone to do one little exercise for me, okay? I want everybody to close their eyes. Close your eyes. And Shradha sitting here, so no pressure. Wondering, close your eyes. And a lot of us have already know the answer to this question. But imagine what is the one thing that you would do for the rest of your life, even if nobody paid you to do it. What is that one thing that you would love to do for the rest of your life? And now we're going to think about how that is going to be something that you manifest and fame and fortune will follow. Now we're going to put it out in the universe. So open your eyes and turn to someone on your left or your right and tell them what you thought of. So there you go. Now I'm seeing some smiles. This is how we start this, okay? So the reason I did that and the reason why I always like to talk about this is to say that we always think, you know, how do I make money? How do I do what I love? And very often we get confused between the two. And I have realized, and I think this panel is living proof, that if you pursue what you really love to do, and if you really make a strong effort and put all your hustle behind it and your heart behind it, you will end up making a very lucrative career out of your passion. And that's kind of what we're here to do. And it always helps to have the right tools to enable you to do it better. And that's why Good Creator Co. and Rigi have come together to help bring all your expectations and manifestations to life. So I'm going to introduce my panel very quickly. I have with me the gorgeous Sejal Kumar, who I'm a super fan of. She's obviously a beautiful content creator, a trailblazer. And one of the things I think that I admire so much about her, she was actually selected as one of the 8 international creators who joined Michelle Obama's YouTube for Change Creators program, which is incredible. Please give her a round of applause. And she just recently published her most current music video, Expired. So she's a little rock star now as well. So yes, please give her a round of applause. And the whistles, yes. I also have with me the absolutely dashing and shy, but he's going to give us all the intel now on fintech. Ayush Shukla, he is the founder of Finet Media, a creator and content-focused company managing India's finest finfluencers. I like that word. And this is something that we all need to learn. And Ayush, who's only 23 years old, has quickly established himself as one of the industry's most sought-after personalities. Please give him a round of applause. Incredible. And the lady with the sparkly shoes over here, who I admire so much, Shradha Salla, has done so many incredible things. Of course, she, is a tarot reader, life coach. She's given guidance to me on multiple occasions. She also has product lines, Love Edamame, I Love Edamame, Love Me. She's been in practice for several years and received extensive trainings from some of the most well-known names in the field. And she has, of course, a very loyal international customer base. She's also a licensed healer and Vastu practitioner and a mother of two. That's probably the hardest part, I'm sure. Who enjoys the pleasures of living on her terms and with whom her clients can easily identify and connect. And I have to say from personal experience, she's very intuitive and non-judgmental, which is very, very helpful when you want to go to someone for advice. So please give her a round of applause. And finally, and oh my God, looking absolutely stunning and just a testament to what she does, Yasmin Karachiwala, of course, who doesn't know her, India's fitness expert who brought Pilates, the whole concept of Pilates and fitness to India, something that me and my husband Naushad back there can raise his hand and vouch for. Yes, he believes in Pilates. And has won a host of awards from the Vogue Fashion Awards, Elle Beauty Awards, the Giants Awards, and the Rotary has recognized her for her work as a fitness instructor. So please give her a warm welcome and a large round of applause. So there you go, folks. What a panel. And I'm super excited to have them share their stories and their journeys. I'm Malini, by the way. I'm the founder of Miss Malini Entertainment. And when I was thinking about what I want to manifest my life to be, I want to build a creator community that is democratic and, inclusive and helps all of us rise and grow and succeed and get very rich together. So that's the goal with all of this. So I really just want to start with asking each of my panelists, if you even know the answer to this question, because I struggle with it, what was your aha moment? Where you're like, okay, this is what I want to do forever, and oh my God, I can get paid to do it, because it's that concept of ikigai, right? The 4 questions, which are, what do I love to do? What am I good at? What can I be paid to do? And what does the world need? So I will start with you, Shradha. What would you say was your aha moment?
Hi guys, so lovely to see all of you here today. So I'm not a very computer savvy, tech savvy person at all. The only thing I know how to do is talk. And I have a lot of knowledge in me. But now what's happened is they've combined this knowledge into creativity, and it's all coming out there on platforms like this. So I stumbled upon it, and I tried to put something out there one day. And I got a DM back saying that, thank you, I really needed to hear this today. And that was from someone very, very random, someone I didn't know. And that's when I realized it's not just your friends and family. It's people who don't know you out there, who you can reach out to on such a large platform. And for someone to say back, this is what I needed to hear today, that was the moment for me.
That's incredible. I love that. I think that DM, yeah, let's give that a round of applause. That one message you get from a complete stranger that tells you, okay, I'm not crazy, I know what I'm doing. Yasmin, what about you?
Hey everyone, how's everyone doing today? Shall we stand and sit and move our legs a little?
If you say we should do it, we should do it. Let's do it.
I always wear shoes that work. Yes. Okay, thanks guys. Good to see you too. Okay, I think for me, thanks Malini for having us here. It's an absolute pleasure. I think for me, more than financially, the aha moment was I was walking on the road one day. Like, I do my walks and someone stopped me and said, are you Yasmin Karachiwala? And I looked at this complete stranger and I was like, yeah, like, okay, now what is he going to tell me? Like, I was a little scared because this man stopped me in the middle of the road and he said, oh, I love the content you put out. And I was like, wow, okay, I used to at that time put out a lot of videos with celebrities or, me doing some crazy Pilates exercises. And when that guy said, I actually follow you and try to do what you do. And I realized that, okay, I have to be more conscious about what I'm putting out there because the people are following what I'm doing. And I think for me that was, and then of course the brands came, and that was just a whole other series. But for me, that aha moment was somebody stopping me on the road and saying, I follow you and I do what you do. And I said, wow, okay.
And it's so true. And I think that there's a good range here, like generational, really. We will say, I know, myself included. I'm 45 years old, and I genuinely, and I feel that what's interesting is before the word content creator or influencer existed. Sorry? I was saying before the word content creator influencer existed, that's what a lot of us were doing. That's what we're doing. It's just called all these fancy terms now. And that's why it's so interesting to have this panel here. Sejal, who is on the younger side of this panel, but killing it. And I just absolutely love it. I want to know, as a content creator, where you came into a world full of creators and had to find a niche. And by the way, please give her a big Bombay welcome. She's moved here now. It's so good to have her here, killing it. I know it's not easy, must be so homesick. So what was your aha moment for you?
Is this working? Yes, it is. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for patiently listening. So I always wanted to be in entertainment. I grew up doing a lot of creative things. I used to sing, still do, still to dance, very involved in art. And it was always my dream to kind of be in this space. But being from Delhi and my parents are conventional doctor, engineer. So I had no idea how I'm going to get here. But I always, now when I look back with my newfound wisdom, I've just felt that if I'm just authentic, things have opened up. It sounds really cheesy, but when I started off, I had no idea that YouTube channel se bhi kuch kar sakte ho. But at that time, in college, I would find whatever auditions I could on Facebook and do random shit and get paid 1,000 rupees, even less, to do whatever. But I kept trying to find a way and kept being authentic. So I feel like this magically opened up this career, and I'm so grateful. And I try to practice that every day, to be super authentic, because I really care about being a creative person and creating meaningful things, even if they're not meaningful to everybody, at least they are to me. And just growing as a person, as an artist, as a business person. So that's it. My aha moment has been with me from childhood, and I just believe in being creative and authentic. That's all.
I love that. Awesome. Tell us about you. When did you realize that you can become a fintech creator and make a career out of this?
Right. First of all, thank you for having me. I feel out of place, Max. And I also moved to
Anytime you're the
Bombay.
only guy on a panel with girls, you should be high-fiving yourself.
I was just saying my team that while I was coming here. But yeah, I think my aha moment was a couple of years ago when I was in college. I was making reels on my business content and all that, and this creator economy company reached out to me, and they were like, we would want you to make reels for our channel and we'll pay you. And I was like, bro, I get 500 views. Why would you want to pay for that? I think that is when I realized the potential of the creator economy, of creating content, putting yourself out there, because just putting yourself out there can differentiate you a lot. So I think that was my aha moment. Yeah.
And I think, I go to a lot of panels and I host them and I'm in the audience a lot. And I hear a lot of successful people and I feel so happy to be in that room. But I always wonder, but tell me something that's going to help me. Tell me something that's going to change my life, so I walk out of this room equipped with some new information. So we're going to try to make this panel as helpful in that way. So we'll do a lot of Q&A as well. And of course, the Rigi team is here. That is all about helping you monetize your passion. So I have to start with you, okay, Shradha? I know that you have this really interesting line that's also in your bio that you say, right, about karma. So first, I'd like for you to share that you say, it says, we are ruled by three things: destiny, karma, and free will, which is a mix. So I know this might sound a little fluffy, but bear with me here. Is it all predestined? Are we going to succeed if we're meant to succeed, or is there something that we are, like you said, by the free will part of it?
So, yes and no. It's not completely predestined. Destiny is basically positioning, the day you're born and the day you're going to die. Karma is something to do with your karmic energies, past, present, and future. Even now, we are karmically building up a bank, right? A bank and a bank balance. But free will, the reason we all are here today, the choice that we've taken to get ready, come here, listen to each one of us, free will is something which is in our hands. So once we understand that, and once we understand our strengths, our weaknesses, our ups, our downs, our positives, negatives, the amount we can give out there, in our free will, we can make the path to our destiny and karma even better. So it's kind of interlinked, all three of them.
I love that. That's why we can manifest exactly what we want to achieve if you put all the tools together. Yasmin, I have to ask you, you've been such an OG of OGs in fitness and bringing Pilates here. What is your advice to people who are entering as creators and, are trying to establish themselves? I know there's some fabulous fitness creators here as well. What is going to make them stand out? And what do you feel, especially with your knowledge of the industry, what are people looking for and what are brands looking for? Where's the money going?
I think it's authenticity. It's being original, it's being true to yourself. So, like I said, I used to put out videos of me doing crazy shit workouts, like things which I thought looked really good. And then I realized, am I helping anyone with it? Like, okay, people are going to watch it. Okay, great. First time you see it, oh my God, she can do that. And oh my God, she can do that. And then what? Where does it go from there? You're not going to just look at a person because they're doing some exercise every day. And then by the fifth time, you're like, yeah, of course she has to do that because she's a fitness trainer. If she doesn't do it, who'll do it? Acha, theek hai, So for me, I think what's important is what can I share with people. And I think COVID to a large extent taught me that. Because I would meet people and people who would DM me saying, you've saved our lives, we've been following you and our fitness is better. And I guess people had more time. So, like, I'm coming up with a new book which releases in Jan, which is 10 Minutes to Fitness. It's called The Perfect 10. And I've put together, because everyone always says, I'm so busy, I don't have time, I don't have time, I don't have time. And in COVID, everyone had time. So everyone was working out, everyone was looking at their fitness, everyone was their fittest best. And then suddenly COVID got over and now people don't have time. And I genuinely believe that we are meant to move, right? We evolve from the animals, we evolve from the apes, we are meant to move. It's not just fingers. And one of the chapters in my book says fingers over bodies. Because every work that the body did earlier, now the fingers are doing. We want to pay a telephone bill, we want to buy a toothbrush, it's our fingers. So it's a fingers battle over bodies that's winning. And that's why people like me make money, because then people need gyms to go to work out. So I think if you are a fitness influencer, what's important is what can you share with the community, because people want to come to your page and you don't want to see like an hour-long workout, right? Because Instagram's all about flipping. And earlier I used to post videos which were like scrolling through, so you would do one exercise for 45 seconds, go to the next, and now people don't have the time. They want to see, okay, what is it? Read in
Doing
the
the
comments.
15-second scroll this way.
Everything is about 15 seconds. And in 15 seconds, you have to get your message out there.
That's so true. Sejal, I want to ask you about thinking back, like you were saying, and I know the same feeling, when you get that first 1,000 rupees for something. When did you realize, and at what point, I'm sure you had to have that conversation with your parents as well, that I'm going to do this for a living. How did you go from maybe hobby creator to making this a profession? And what was that first deal and how did it come about?
You have beautiful eyes, by the way.
She does.
So I've always been super ambitious, and I made like an Excel sheet for my parents, and I've told this story like 1,000 million times that I get like hate comments on it. Humne sun liya hai. But I will tell it again because YOLO. I made an Excel sheet, and at that time, I remember like my mom, I really wanted a camera to film my first video. And wo camera 25,000 ka tha. So for a college student, it's impossible to have 25,000 rupees, right? So that's the only time my mom paid for something for me. And I still remember her expression because she was like, ab kuch karke dikhana iske baad. Because they feel that. But then after that, I was like, theek hai, don't take so much pressure. And I just like made my videos. But then I made sure like, when I decided to fully focus on it, there was an option in college, like if you guys, I think you guys are in college maybe, in your second year, you're not, oh my God, okay. Oh my God, okay, sorry. But there's an option in your second year where you can take an internship or not. So I decided to do this, and that's when I was like, I have made like 10,000, 15,000, give me like some time. And I have not taken any money so far. Except for them letting me stay in their house, which I'm very grateful for. Yeah.
But that's incredible. And I think that I love the Excel sheet thing. I think that's something to note. You sometimes don't realize that, and I've learned this over many years, all the investor pitches I've done, I realized that I was pitching my parents from from way back, whenever you come up with an idea, that is an investor pitch to the very first investors in your life. Ayush, the question I have for you,
Yeah.
especially in the field that you're in, people always say, what works on social media? Entertainment, 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 sing and dance. I'm finding myself listening to trending reels and trying to learn the dance steps. You're in such a different vein. So, how important is making your content entertaining? And is there something that you would say is the secret sauce for a fintech creator?
So I often talk to my creators about this is that we tricked people into learning because we start with this very funny hook or a hack like how to get a free Starbucks and how to get this insurance for cheap and all that. So that's the hook or entertaining angle that we usually look at, and that is when the last 30 seconds or the last 30% of the video is just the knowledge part. So I think when that started happening, let's say a few creators started coming in the fintech space, they used this template, more and more people realize that they're interested in this. So I think before it was an awareness problem. All of us want to make more money. We just don't know how to. Or all of us want to make our money make money for us. We have no idea about that. So I think the influencers started doing that with a very innovative way of giving a hook, mithai dena pehle, and then talking about what they are looking for. So I think if you want to start into this niche, you have to keep the learning angle at the last and put the result first. So I think that's the key.
Got it. And I have to ask, I know that, we're all of such different fields, and this is open to anyone who wants to take it. I want to ask, now that you know everything that you know about what you do, is there anything you would have done differently or earlier? Like, I'll start by saying that if I had known all the things that I know, I would have put out less content. I always thought it's about putting out so much content and filling the world. And now when I look back, and I did a TED Talk on this, and I've counted how many tweets I put out into the universe. And sometimes I'm like, I wish I could go and clean up my footprint and be a little more mindful of what I put out there. And, we always feel that maybe you need to post more, but sometimes less is more. So is there any such learning that you would do differently or that you've come across that you would change today? Or is your advice to someone who might be starting out?
I just feel that the times have changed also, and that's why you feel like that now. Because when we first started, there was content that you needed to put out, to be known, to be recognized, to be even observed. And now it's become about less is more. But I think when we started out, I think it was just establishing yourself. And so there are things I would clean up, but then I just leave them there because it shows from where I've grown to where I've become, So it's like I'm not ashamed of what I've put out. Almost.
That's what makes us human. Yes, Ayush?
Yeah, adding to that, I think I personally would put less pressure on myself, and I would say that to the other creators as well, because I think there's a lot of pressure when we put out the video. There's an effort which goes to making that video, but after that we put so much pressure that video doesn't perform. So I think it's a cliche saying that, just focus on the process and not on the results, but it's easier said than done. But I think that is the only part I will take it lightly, mehnat kar li, video banane mein.
I think it's true, like they're saying a pot kettle doesn't boil, a watched Instagram video doesn't get more likes. The more you sit and look at your numbers, I've realized that
Exactly.
my solution to that is whenever I start internalizing and feeling I'm not getting enough views, I'm like, okay, let me go put it out in the universe and go to somebody else's page and comment on someone who's in my peer group and then sort of build that up. I have to ask you, Sejal, this question on content authenticity, and actually this actually applies to everyone. When we do branded content, the biggest nightmare for all creators is when a brand has a very particular way they want you to do something that may not really sit authentically with you. How do you do the pushback without losing the contract?
I have this thing in life. I don't like to complain about anything at all. I try to be extremely solution oriented. So if somebody comes to me with a brief key, this happened with me. I did a collaboration with Skoda, whatever. So I did a collaboration with them, and they wanted me to be in the car. ये brief था कि आपको गाड़ी में बैठना है, and they wanted me to collaborate with another person who's a chef, Chef Kelvin. And I was like baffled. I was like, what am I going to do? I do so much fashion, lifestyle, or music, and he's a chef, and we have to be in a car. Like what? And I tried to pitch many ideas. Ki chalo carpool karaoke types kuch kar sakte hai, or like okay, he can teach me how to cook, la la la. And we shot it, and even the day I shot it, I felt like this doesn't feel authentic. This feels very forced. And but I still went through with it. And I don't think my audience liked the video too. Like they properly shat on it. But I realized that I need to use my brain better. Like it's my job as a creative person to come up with a solution. Like if someone's paying me money, I better do a good job. And instead of crying, कि यार ये brands तो briefs ही बेकार देते हैं, like who cares? They'll give it to someone else, right? So I think just improve yourself.
So I completely relate with her because, but mine went positive actually. I also did something for someone with another chef, Chef Ranbir Bra, and he was cooking while I had to be talking about energies and vastu and kitchen vastu. But we made it so much fun, you know. So it was like, which corner do you think is right? Oh, this is wrong. Oh my God, will this happen with my wife today? And then when he was cooking and saying something, and I was talking about the knives, I said, should we be using this to cut this energy, you know, or can we use this knife to cut cords? So we kind of made it so interactive that everyone at the end of it were like, this is informative, this is enjoyable, and we never thought that an astrologer or someone who knows about vastu or colors or a color for vegetable or a fruit, what would that do to you? Is it doing something to you or not? Would connect it with cooking. So that kind of for me went off really well.
That's a really good example of exactly being creative and being willing to sort of step out of the box. I think I have to ask the other question is, how do you deal with competition? I think the one big thing that all of us struggle with is, you know, we hear all the cliches, you're only in competition with yourself, but you don't feel like that in the real world, right? So how do you deal with competition, and how do you control that feeling of jealousy or make it into a positive feeling and have healthy competition? Yasmin, your thoughts?
Okay, so I've been in the fitness industry for 3 decades. And I think the only reason I've survived is I don't follow any of my uh, competitors, you know, if you call them that, because I feel like, honestly, like because I studied all my fitness trainings were done abroad. I just learned to focus on my work. It's bloody difficult. Okay, it's very difficult to not look at what somebody else is posting. And sometimes you might not even do that, but somebody will come to you and say, oh, you know, this one did this. And how come you're not doing this? And you're like, fuck. You just have to do what you're doing and believe in it, because you have to look at how well you are doing, right? And so if I'm really doing well, I am where I want to be in life, I am probably better than where I wanted to be in life. I just have to learn and teach myself not to look at what other people are doing and to focus on what is it that I'm doing and how can I do what I'm doing better.
Makes sense. Ayush, I have to ask you, since you are the true representative of Gen Z here today, what do you feel is the future for aspiring content creators? Because one thing that's happened, I've seen when I started out, there was a lot less competition in a sense, right? Because nobody even knew. I mean, people thought I just played games on my phone all day. But you know, now there's so much competition, so it's almost harder in some ways. And we are seeing the emergence of such different varieties of creators. It's no longer just beauty, fashion. Now you're seeing fintech. Where do you think it goes, and do you think that there's any content creator buckets that are untapped that people should consider maybe?
I mean, I agree 100% that, you know, competition is at all-time peak. And if you started creating 3 years ago, even if you created average content, you would be somewhere today. But today that won't work. You will have to be at the top. Like from day one, you have to create top content. In terms of finding out new buckets, I think new niches are starting to come in. For example, 2 years ago, fintech was one of the fresh niches. Now it's also saturated, is what I feel. But now I see lawyers creating content. I see brokers creating content. Ki ghar le lo 3 BHK.
Doctors.
Yeah, exactly. And there's like bunch of other doctors, of course. Yeah, you mentioned. And any profession there is, I think, look at. But you can't do that, to be honest. If I'm not a broker, I can't create content about broking. But apart from that, if you're creating generic content, if you don't have expertise in that particular niche, it's very difficult. If you don't know about finance and you're creating finance content, you'll make money, let's say 6 months, and 7 months you'll die down. So I think from that way, it's getting hard to create content. There's like a barrier to entry coming in from like कुछ पढ़ लो, कुछ सीखो, कुछ experience करो and then बनाओ, वरना नहीं चलेगा.
I think that's the real struggle too, because I've seen this from the brand side and the creator side, right? Also for brands, sometimes they're like, there are so many content creators, who do we pick? So now there's agencies that help find. And I know the big struggle with creators also is that I know my content is genuine. There's 100 other people doing the same thing, but they are not doing it authentically. How do I,
Exactly, yeah.
why do they have their millions of followers that maybe they have bought? I know I have all the same demons as everyone else. So I think the real question here is, how do you, and how does everyone in this room who really genuinely have made, like we said, the effort to come here to learn, is not just there, saying, I'm just going to become a content creator and apne aap ho jayega. But I know the struggle is real and the desire is real. But there are so many times where we feel that, man, it's just not happening for me. So what are the indicators, or what can we do differently? What should people tweak in your mind for themselves? And they could be in any genre, right? For example, I'll give you an example. So Jaggu is here. Please raise your hand. Who has been a radio host for many years. We used to work at Radio 1 together, Go 92.5. Knows actually everything about real estate and finance as well, and is hugely hilarious. But his whole question is, what the fuck do I do with YouTube? Right? So also, how do you find your platform? You know you have the skill and talent. How do you make this creator verse work for you? Your thoughts?
I'm going to be really, really honest, and you guys may laugh at me, but I don't even know how to make a reel. Seriously. Okay? And I didn't even know what a verified account was. I woke up one morning and my daughter's like, Mom, you got a blue tick. I said, okay, where? And then she showed me. I think that has a lot to do with the Facebook and Google Lives and all that we did and stuff. But each one of us has something in us which the other person does not have. Don't look at what they are doing. Being yourself, believing in yourself, and yourself being your only competition is not a cliche. Please understand that is your USP. I don't know any tarot card reader around me. I don't know any numerologist around me. I just know what I do. And I know I speak from the heart. I know I make sense. I know I'm not talking rubbish. And that's how it connects. So please, find your soul, find your inner passion and put it out there, because that's the only thing that will work. As I always say, bread and butter is important. Everything else that has come out, your reels and your filters and this and that is jam that we can use on top, but don't lose out with your bread and butter. Carb-free, gluten-free bread and butter. Like I have to say, Yas's, those little things that she puts out for the cooking that she does, I mean, I love them. Just the way she does it so authentically, it's fab.
And I'd just like to add to what she said, and you might not find that one thing in yourself the first time or the second time. And it's okay to keep trying, and it's okay if things fail. We have to move on. Like, we didn't wake up one day or didn't plan to be, fitness influencers or, whatever. It just happened because people loved what we did. And it happened for us. It happened very organically. People loved what we did. They put us on that platform. We didn't step out on that platform, which now there is that competition of doing. And, like you said, like 3 years back, it might not have worked. But today, and that's okay, just try everything. Anyway, people are putting out such rubbish. And people are still watching it, and something of yours will click, and that will be your aha moment. So just try out everything. Right now is the best time to try, because people will accept and reject everything. And you're just going to be there and you'll realize. And when you find that aha moment is when you will follow your path.
I actually thought of some ideas for you, sir. Like I feel like there's so much to work with. I recently did this for my mom. She's a doctor, so she started her channel called Maitri. And I think you were a host on Radio 1. Finance, you're also funny. So there can be so many things that you can do with that together. Also funny stuff funny hote hain in their private life. But there's so much you can do. Maybe like off the top of my head, I've seen a lot of people put up these reels where it's just aisa shot hai unka and they're just speaking to camera about one specific topic. So maybe you can make a show that like a small 15 second का जो आप हर हफ्ते या हर third day पे डाल रहे हैं, and you can put the text like that, just make एक ही जगह अपने घर पे बैठ के आप वही shoot करिए हर 3 दिन में, and maybe after like 3 months it'll really pick up if you obviously do it consistently. And जब आपकी personality धीरे धीरे बाहर आएगी, funny भी बाहर आ जाएगा, आपके money related, maybe you can do a money related radio talk show if you're actually very interested. So I think what really helps, like I try to look at myself also like from an outside perspective as Sejal an entity and not Sejal as like me, as how I know myself, and try to put keywords like every 6 months, to be honest, because I'm evolving as a person and I need to consistently rebrand myself. So like I did this exercise last week where I kind of want to see myself in the next year. So, you know, how I want to dress, the videos I want to do, what my vibe should be, because it's a little hard if you yourself are the product to like commodify yourself and still be yourself. So if you have a basic framework, I think it's easier. And then when you really come into yourself, audiences connect. And yeah, I hope that helped.
Ayush?
My advice is more on a process-oriented level. Again, I think I went from creating podcasts to comedy content to motivation to business to finance to a bunch of stuff, right? So I think it's a lot of hardcore execution and exploring at the same time. आज ये डाला, दो बार डाला, तीन बार डाला, नहीं चला, कुछ और try किया. And doing that over a consistently long period. And now it's getting harder, so longer period. And when you do that, as she rightly said, that is when you will know कि ये चल गया, पता भी नहीं होगी ये कैसे चल गया. And then you'll double down on that. And then it'll keep working for you, and that's your aha moment.
Amazing. So I want to make sure we have enough time for questions. So I'm going to shift to the audience now. There's a microphone that's floating here with Yansha right here. So please raise your hand if you have a question. And you can go ahead and ask it. Any questions, just raise your hand up. Don't be shy. Go ahead.
So, hi, I'm Radhika. So, basically, I'm an architect and a fashion blogger. So, I want to ask you all, since you all are so much into all of these things which are very much famous and all. So, if you have two professions which you are very passionate about, what would you like to do? Like, how would you give your time to both of the things, or would you choose one of them?
Dude, my mom is a practicing surgeon and she has a YouTube channel, which she does so well. So I think it's all dependent on your work ethic, really, to be very like blunt.
So I had two professions. I was a kindergarten teacher and I was a fitness instructor. So I used to teach in the morning. This was for about 8 years. I used to go to school. I worked at the French International School teaching English. I would go to school, teach in the mornings, and then take classes in the evening. And I did that for 7 to 8 years till I realized what I love doing more. And I did that. I think it was also to do with having kids. And then I realized I didn't have enough patience for my kids when I came home from the school. And yeah, so I chose. So there is always one which balances. Try both out, you know, try doing both. There's always one which will have, because I always feel if you choose that one thing, you can do a much better job and more justice to it. Jack of all trades, master of one.
Awesome. Question there? Yeah.
This is for you, Yasmin, ma'am. Actually,
You can call me Yasmin. You don't need to call me ma'am. I know I'm old, but...
So, I am trying to learn Pilates, but is it good for the backache? I have a very bad problem.
It is the best for any part of your body that's not functioning well, and it is really good even if you're an athlete. So Pilates is great for everyone, whether you're starting out, you've never exercised, or you're a fitness professional, or you're an athlete. It's meant for anyone from the age of 10 to 100.
Any other questions in the audience? Can you raise your hand up for me? Does anybody else have a question over here? So, gentlemen. Don't be shy. All the things that you have always had, the burning questions, you now have a panel of experts across fields to answer them.
Hi, I'm Sarabjit Sachar. I'm into job search and interview coaching. Primarily, that's my core focus. Recently, I started doing reels on Facebook, and obviously I use LinkedIn a lot. I needed to understand with the subject that I have, which is primarily career coaching, which is more serious. Do you think short kind of reels like 15 seconds versus a 30-second or a minute? Generally, I run into a minute because I have so much to say. It's doing okay, but in terms of the format of the reel, would a shorter format for a subject like career and job search and interview, where people expect a lot, what do you think? Means anybody in the panel can give a feedback.
Everyone's like, Ayush knows this answer.
Yeah, sir, absolutely. I feel I personally know at least 10 creators in your exact same niche who create content. I think if whenever you feel like there's too much to say within the 1 minute, break that content into 3 reels then. Like try to divide the same content piece into 3 reels. Be specific, one reel, one point. I mean 60 seconds, 30 seconds में आप ज़्यादा कर नहीं सकते कवर. तो आपको to the point रहना है, बहुत ज़्यादा एक reel में ज़्यादा नहीं करना है because अगर वो लंबा हो गया, Instagram reel है, लोग देखेंगे नहीं, वो skip कर देंगे. So if you're not getting that growth, बहुत specific रहो. And I see a pattern for you as well that बहुत सारे लोग इसमें वो म्यूजिक रील्स बनाते हैं कि ऐसे वो इशारे करके कि आपको इस स्कूल में जाना है, इस कॉलेज में जाना है, ये करना है, तो आप यू कैन अप्लाई फॉर दी स्कॉलरशिप्स एंड ऑल दैट. आई थिंक दैट वर्क्स वेरी वेरी वेल. सो थोड़ा आउट ऑफ कंफर्ट जोन जाके आप म्यूजिक रील्स भी ट्राई करो. बट बहुत अपॉर्चुनिटी है. आई विल टेल यू फ्यू नेम्स, यू कैन सर्च देम. आप उनका कंटेंट देखो, यू कैन ट्राई क्रिएटिंग सिमिलर कंटेंट बट full on.
I think you should collab with your son. So his son is a creator, Amol Sachar. So you should definitely do some fun comedy related stuff as well with him.
100%.
Yes. You have a mic here? Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Hi everyone. My name is Gunjan Kamra. So I am also a yoga instructor and I have my own company. So this is a question for the content creators who are also entrepreneurs. My question is that you all know that you are good at Pilates, you are good at content creating, but along with running a company comes HR, comes the tech, comes the hassles of a lot of other things. And how did you overcome all those things? Because we know what we are good at, but there are also things that we are not good at. And my question is that how, and I think internet is full of people giving advice on fashion and fitness, but what about the tech? What about the HR issues, people management? I think now there are more people who are emerging and sharing concepts about these things as well, but I'm sure you must have at some point overcome that issue, because I think you also have an app. So, you have gone tech. So I want to understand where to start, because that is where I am and I need help.
First of all, I hear all the pain and I have felt all of it.
Yeah.
So I understand where you're coming from. I think for me, honestly, with Miss Malini and everything, it was you have to build a team. You start alone, but you need to get people with the right skills to help you. But I would love to hear from everyone how they've managed.
I think this question is again going to go to the kids. Because I guess when we started, I can safely say the team came first. The team came first, the business came first. No? For me, yeah, you were a one-man show with me so for my tarot and all, it was a one-man show. For the couple of businesses that I run, the team came first, the HR, the offices, everything, and this came much later. So I'm going to maybe reverse that question later and ask, how do you get better online? But yeah, let me give this to her.
So yeah, I totally feel you, because that happened with me. I literally started from my guest room. That's when I started my career from, and then that's when I grew. And every step of the way, as you grow, you start getting people in. So I remember the first instructor that I trained to work with me, my fear was, what if he learns everything and runs away and starts his own, right? And it took me time, like the same thing that I said earlier is you have to just tell yourself not to be bothered with competition and, focus on the same way. You shouldn't be scared to spread your knowledge. Like today I have a whole team. I do teach the teacher training, because the one thing I realized is I'm always going to know what I know, and no one can take that away from me, right? I might create 100 instructors, but what I know, and I know that I'm constantly learning and I'm constantly updating myself, and the years that I have 30 years of experience. No one can take that away from me. Same, right? So when I felt like I needed that first instructor to help me, because now I had more than 5 people and I couldn't manage, I had to teach him that. It was a big step. I was really scared, because I was like, what if tomorrow he leaves me? And I used to get very emotional every time an instructor left. Not because he learned, but I used to feel like I've invested so much into this person. I've given my heart and soul, and I always teach all my instructors everything I know. Because if you have to run a business and you want people to come to you, and not just you, but anyone in your team, I feel they all have to be as good as you. But you have to believe that no one can take away what you know, right? And then came HR, and then came franchise manager, and then came business, manager. And so as we needed people, I grew with them. Of course, today the kids have a different way of growing. They grow really fast. It's taken me 30 years to be where I am. So
I mean, adding to that, I mean, I run a company and I create content. And I think what I've realized in the experience of doing the same is that one will always be priority and one will always be second. So, for example, I started off creating content and then I started the company. But when my company took off, I naturally focused on my company more. And since 1.5 years, I've only focused on my company more, and my content has been a side gig. रात को 1 घंटा shoot कर लिया, 2 घंटा shoot कर लिया. Fortunately, it has done decent for me. But I feel एक priority हमेशा रहेगा, because company चलाना, as you mentioned, it's too much work. There's finance, there's accounting. मतलब you'll be making invoices to send to the brands, right? So there's a lot of work. Priority 1 and 2, you have to do that.
You had a question here?
So I had a similar question. It's on the same line. So I run a styling company called The Closets Fix. And when I started just before the lockdown. And the idea was to have a company. I didn't want to be a content creator. I didn't want to do those styling reels, etc. How do you separate your company or your business from content creating? Is it like mandatory for you to do to be a content creator? I mean, I think a lot of my friends struggle with that. Like, they know what they want to do, but content creation becomes like, it ends up becoming the focus.
I think I'll take that just to start with, is to say I understand where that comes from. I think there is a little bit of, preset fear that we've given ourselves. Don't think of it as only content creation. Think of it as marketing. Correct. You would anyways invest some time and effort in marketing your company. It just so happens that instead of a billboard or television or whatever other way, you're using social media, which is the world's billboard, in a sense.
So I have a question for that. So then, do you expect monetization from the content? Like, for example, you're putting out content on social media. So obviously the idea is to show people what you do. But then do you expect conversions coming in from there? Like, should you be expecting that? Or is it just to showcase what you do on the outside?
So I'll let somebody else take this after, but I'll add one quick thing here, is to say this big concept of ROI, which is the big content creator versus brand struggle of all time. That what is my ROI? How many people are going to shop? But the point is, a lot of it is brand building, right? The reason everyone who's sitting here today everything hasn't always translated into money in the bank. You build a brand, an identity for you, and then tomorrow people will bank on that. I think you have to have the larger zoomed out vision and not say, okay, did this piece of content turn into 10 purchases, or did it turn into a brand equity?
Correct. Could you repeat the second part of the question again?
So I'm saying that when you're putting out content, right? Like, okay, and you're consistent, you've gone through the entire grind of first, conceptualizing, then putting it out there. And then you're sitting and waiting that, okay, am I going to get conversions for my service from Instagram? And when that does not happen, either you feel that you failed at what you're doing, or is it just about putting out your work out there? Like, okay, so this is what I do, and I'm just showing people what I do, and then I don't expect anything.
Good. And what is it that you sell?
Sorry?
What is it that you sell?
What do I sell? I sell styling services.
Got it.
Yeah.
So, as Malini rightly mentioned, you have to look at it from a marketing perspective. The reason you're even having that conversation is because content gave you that privilege that, you're reaching out to so many people. Otherwise, let's say there's no social media, you can't reach out to people. There's so many styling brands, legacy brands. We don't stand ahead of them. Like, in front of them, you're nothing. But when you start getting content, people relate to that, people like your content, there's the chance. There's like somebody might reach out to you on DM and be like, hey, I like your style, what's the costing? And that is when you make a sale. So building that brand, as she was mentioning, takes time. You'll take 2, 3, 4 years. After that, you make a reel and you're getting 500k views, then you can expect कि चलो बहुत सारे वो आ रहे हैं. But you just make, let's say, 100 content pieces and you get 1, 2 sale, and you put 101 and you're like, sale नहीं हो रही है. It won't work like that. So I think you have to change the way you look. The perspective should be different. It should be brand building. It should be over a period of time you're building this channel so that down the line you keep getting sales from there, and on top of that you build more channels.
So basically, the answer is that you cannot expect to monetize initially. I think it's just about showcasing
And
your
when you say
work. And if that happens,
is
it's a
it
bonus.
branded monetization or just selling karke monetization?
Just showing your work, not branded content.
I don't think you should have high expectations to begin with. Yeah.
But if you
Thank you. We'll
manifest
pass
it, if you manifested it well, maybe you can.
Ah, see, that's the layer we need to add on. What's your question?
Hi, thank you, Malini, for this wonderful platform today. I'm Shradha Agarwal, and I'm a business coach for women entrepreneurs. So I put a lot of content related to business coaching so that these small business owners, the women who have come out of their houses and developed a lot of potential through the COVID, I must say, all of them have come with COVID businesses. I help them to grow their business. Now, I want to know, how about collaborations working on Instagram? How can we reach out to people for collaborations, and what is the right way to reach out for collaborations?
Other creators?
They could be small business owners also. If I want to give them a lift, if they are just very few, they've just come up with something, I want to work with them and help them to grow.
Okay, so
So
reaching
how
out to
can I
customers.
reaching out to collaborators in the right way, and how can we collaborate on what basis?
I think you should be on LinkedIn first. LinkedIn is more useful for the type of business
But
that you
for
have.
the women, Insta is a good place to be, because there
Yeah.
are not women entrepreneurs on LinkedIn who are doing the small businesses. There are. I am very active on LinkedIn also at the same
Correct.
time. I'm there on all the platforms basically.
I
But
also
Insta
honestly
is,
feel the communities, right? So I have a
Yeah.
community called
Yeah.
Girl Tribe where a lot of
Correct,
women
correct.
come and they talk about their businesses together. I think there's a lot of opportunity for small business owners to get together and do your pop-ups, and I see a lot of that happening now as
Yeah.
well. I think that there's a lot of value for you, I would feel, to create sort of a hub for that and say, okay, I'm starting an Instagram page where I'm going to feature a small business every day. And then it might start out small, but then as that grows, I always feel that the more you give to someone else and say, okay, in our collaboration, what do you gain from it? You end up actually having high value returns.
So I have approach for that. I want to know the right way that I can really approach these people and add value for the collaborations that they come up to me. I have approached a lot of these women.
So you have approached small businesses to mentor them, you're saying.
Not to mentor, for collaborations. I'm not mentoring them at this point
And when
of
you
time.
say collaboration, like collaboration reels,
So
what
it's
do you mean by
basically,
collaboration?
showcasing them on my platform.
Acha,
Okay,
okay.
it could be that. And if I can do something for them, like, because they are very small people, they don't know how to come out. They are in their own shell right now. They don't even know how to promote themselves on Instagram also, writing a good
Got
post
it,
or
got it,
something
got it.
like that. Where I would love to promote them on my page also.
Got it. And if I may ask, what's your distribution like?
Sorry, my distribution.
Followers.
Followers, I don't have too many followers because I believe in organic. So I'm around 2.3K followers. I don't have too many followers.
So I think right way to do it would be to first create content, organic content, push it out there. Once you have followers, let's say even if you have 10,000 followers and you put out a story, like I think she does it, Masoom does it very well, that she, she'll put a form and be like, apply if you want. Promoting small business wala angle. So I think आपके पास खुद पहले distribution थोड़ा होना चाहिए. That way it will get very easy for you. Or let's say if you're big on LinkedIn, you can put a form on LinkedIn as well. So inbound ज़्यादा चलेगा, outbound थोड़ा tough रहेगा. I feel.
Okay, thank you so much. So I know we're out of time, but I know there are a lot more questions here. We're going to have a little networking after this where we can mingle with each other and chat. But I also wanted to mention one really important thing that we're doing. We're going to do this as a series. And I really thank you guys so much for being here and supporting the Good Creator community, and Rigi for bringing all your knowledge to a room and spending your time here. It means the world to me. I really appreciate it. And I would really like to invite Mr. Ananya Single over, who is the founder of Rigi, co-founder of Rigi, to come and join us over here. Please give him a round of applause. I also wanted to say, please raise your hand, the Rigi team that's here. So all the people who have questions left about how to monetize your passion, these are your people. Go and chat with them. They're going to give you a lot of great advice, because that's what this platform is all about. Thank you, Ananya, for making time and working with us and Good Creator Co. Would love for you to tell us a little bit more about the platform as well.
Yeah. Thanks, Malini, for the wonderful opportunity out here. I was just hearing the Q&A and just realized someone had asked, ki, I am a one-man show. How do I get started? That tech is so hard for me. How do I manage operations? How do I manage finances, right? And that's when so that's actually what Rigi does. It's just a natural, so me and my co-founder are actually very hardened content consumers. We'll not watch Netflix, we'll watch YouTube in our free time. We are blog bingers. Vlogs, we binge on them. So what we've realized, ki, there are people who are great at something and they should have that infra. And we said, ki, we are great product builders. Let's build a product out there and help these. So it can be so a lot of people do direct monetization through us. So we understand all of you build some audience out here. And we said, you build a distribution. Now it's time to reap on it. You can't be just sowing the crop. You need to harvest it. You need to realize the fruits of your labor. And once you start doing it, it will motivate you to do more. And that's where we decided to build on these tools. We said we'll be the backend team for you, and you name a product, we'll make it.
That's amazing. Please give that a round of applause. I think we all need that in our lives. So please do come and chat with the Rigi team. We have a really fun wheel of manifesting what you're going to leave with here today. I hope today's panel was valuable to you. We're going to be coming back with lots more and taking this across the country. So please do share the love. Take a picture, grab some merch, post about it, and please do join. I'm sure a lot of you already are part of the Creator Co community. Thank you for always supporting. We're trying to make improvements and trying to bring educational and fun experiences. And thank you so much for taking out the time today. I really appreciate it. Thank you.